10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack Attack. Today is February 2nd and we hit a huge new milestone, so let's have a look at it. So Nick S here shares a screenshot of the Rocket Scan website with the TVL, and it says the TVL total value locked is $105 million, which is $1 billion. $1,005 million, which is absolutely amazing. Congratulations to the community, congratulations to the team, congratulations to everyone staking, holding our ETH. All of you all are wonderful. What a great day, what a great celebration for us all. Yeah, $1 billion, that's really, really good. That's really good. So that's really wonderful. I'm so happy about that. Along with that, we can see on DeFi Llama, the numbers are a little bit late, but if you have a look at protocols in Ethereum, Rocket Pool is now, wait, we're not on all, I don't want all, I want just, I'm sorry, just on Ethereum. Yeah, on Ethereum, Rocket Pool is now ranked number 12. We're still number 12, and it's a fair chunk of way to go before we get to Frax. We need another 50% increase before we get to Frax, but after that point, then there's a whole bunch of them that are within, like it's a 50% pump to get to number 11 at Frax, but if we get 100% pump, then we get to InstaDApp, which is number 7. So that's right behind Uniswap, which would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, the Rocket Pool TVL is $1 billion. Like I said, DeFi Llama is a little bit slow because they don't update their numbers that frequently, I guess. But this is on the back of this beautiful chart from Binance, which I'm be looking at the 1 minute chart all day. But if you have a look at the 4-hour chart, basically from launch, we hit a high of $42.90. And then since then, the chart has pretty much been up only. And today we hit a new high on Binance of $44.28. So as you know, on the Binance listing night, the prices went higher than this. But when it actually came time to list on Binance, then the liquidity had gone down a little bit. People kind of started selling at that point a little bit as well. So that kind of, hit the price. But today we are higher than what we started trading on Binance with. So that's really, really fantastic. We've had 18% gain in the last 24 hours. And if you have a look at basically a low of yesterday at 2:30 Eastern time, so nearly 24 hours ago, at 36.41, and now we're at 43.82 with a new high on Binance of 44.28, and it's looking beautiful, absolutely glorious. So that is a really nice chart, like a really, really nice chart. So I'm very happy with that. Okay, next I have this really interesting story that started in governance. So here we have Motley Sage, who says, "Hi everyone, my name is Sage D. Young, a reporter at Coindesk. I've been keeping an eye out on Rocket Pool's vote to self-limit. Any chance someone is free to chit-chat?" So Valdorff was around and he says, "Hey, here or DM is fine if you wish." And then he says, "Currently the vote is just to establish a set of principles for the Rocket Pool DAO, which establishes the groundwork to self-limit." And Valdorff says, "I wouldn't call it just." And then he goes on to say that this is probably stronger than the code change, because code changes can be done and undone. And Valdorff says this sets a framework for future code, allows us to effectively react to the current state while anchoring our values and not letting them invisibly drift over time. So it's a really great thing that the values are getting enshrined here. And then Sage asks, so if the vote passes, the guiding principles will inform all decision making from the Rocket Pool community. When the term self-limit is used, we are talking limiting, capping the percentage of staked ETH that's in the Rocket Pool ecosystem, right? And Valdorff says that's right. I would expect that if we stay far from the lowest numbers there in the market share, it doesn't get referenced much at all. But as we get closer, it would get referenced in conversation. It should serve as a framework for us to discuss the state of the overall staking market, our state within it, potential attacks on different LSDs, including our own, e.g. governance, etc. So Motley Sage went on and asked a few more questions about how that would look, like, if there's no code now, then what might happen later. And Valdorff gave examples of, like, sharing liquidity or promoting other chains and that kind of stuff, other protocols, I mean. And Jasper came in and said, code is just the personification of values. The only way we avoid value drift is to loudly and consistently affirm our values. Consider the recent Bitcoin NFT drama. The value of the core devs wasn't properly reflected in code. Unlimited data storage is considered bad by them. The code change alone doesn't capture that. However, the years of debate around OP return from 2014 onwards shows that in this case, the values in code differed. We know this because of social history. So then Motley Sage said, how do you want to be attributed? And, Valdorff gave some information. And and then this article was written. Rocket Pool community voting whether to self-limit its growth. If passed, the vote establishes a guiding set of principles to inform Rocket Pool's decision-making process in limiting the percentage of staked ether in its ecosystem. And then you can go on and read the whole article. It's got quotes from Langers in there, or quoting a tweet, and it's got the quotes from Valdorff in there as well, which is really amazing. It's really, really cool that we've got such people in the community who are willing to share really good information. Also, Superfizz is referenced in the article too, but go and read the article. It's good information, and that was a really great discussion in governance that kind of highlight some of the values of the vote and like why we're voting the way we are and what's happening with this vote. Because a couple of days ago on the Daily Gway, Anthony Sassano said, it's easy for communities to talk about self-governing, self-limiting and all this kind of stuff when they're very small. It's easy to make a promise now that can be broken later. But I think this is really valuable because what we're doing here is not just like Jasper said, right? Like we're setting the foundations and we're going to affirm them frequently and loudly, and because of that, it'll become a bedrock of like the guiding principle for the protocol, which I think would be really valuable and really exciting. There's a whole lot of growth to be had in the coming weeks and months. I'm a firm believer that Rocket Pool as a protocol is going to grow massively in the next year, maybe even the next 2 or 3 years, to capture a much bigger share of the staking market. And the idea is that the staking is going to go to $1 trillion industry, which would be absolutely amazing. And Rocket Pool, if we have a percentage of that, then those things become really important, that we have those shared values and shared beliefs. And I really like the language in the RPIP that says, we put Ethereum first, and that is what we're doing. Okay, next we kind of touched on this yesterday, but I just wanted to go over this again. Jasper says, brief recap of the oDAO talk at the end of the community call. An oDAO convention is being planned, wherein they will discuss the thread with all oDAO members and work towards a constitution. This meeting is mainly conversational, and the constitution is likely a longer term plan. The team are fans of the constitution idea. I think Langer said he's working on a proper response to the thread, but he's not sure about that. So that's really cool. The oDAO drama last week was frequent and quite strong, and it kind of pit the team against the community in a sense, in a way that I think was kind of unhealthy at the time, or maybe not unhealthy, but maybe kind of confrontational at the time. However, with these planned conversations and constitution and stuff coming about, I think that's a huge positive that's coming from this, and I really believe that good will come from this. Whether that, I don't think that's going to lead to the oDAO being disbanded anytime soon. However, it'll open up channels, it'll make things a lot clearer between the oDAO and the team and the community, and we'll all just have a better idea of what everyone's doing, where everyone stands, and all of that will be a lot more transparent, rather than some of the more obfuscated parts of it, the hidden parts of it that we have now. So I really think that it was tough to go through those few days and weeks, but we're going to come out of this stronger and much healthier as a protocol, especially with all of these things that are happening, like with self-limiting and now with the oDAO stuff. A lot of people do think of the oDAO as one of the strongly limiting factors of Rocket Pool's growth, and like an existential problem even in Rocket Pool's growth. And the fact that we're starting on this journey to address it is really wonderful. I know that people in the community have been wanting to address this for over a year, and I've been asking the same kind of questions that are being asked now, but I think it just reached a critical mass with this idea of like a really bullish period coming up potentially, and everyone's kind of looking at the oDAO and saying like, what are these guys even doing? What's going on? And it kind of just reached a boiling point, and hopefully really good stuff is going to come out of this. So I'll definitely keep you all up to date on what's happening with these conversations and these meetings and working towards a constitution, because I think that is a really good starting place. I really think the community should be involved in some of these conversations as well. I know that like the rocket scientists will be in that call, in the conversation with the oDAO members, and I really hope that they use their community voice to present some of these points that the community really wants. I'm really excited to see what happens with it. Okay, next is something from Joe. He says, I have an announcement. So let's see what the announcement is. The announcement here is a 3D printer, which is a Elegoo Saturn 2. So there's a printer, and as we all know that Joe prints his Proteus using a 3D printer. So I asked Joe, I said, Joe, what's good about this printer, Joe? Because I know that he mentioned getting a new printer before, and I was just wondering what makes this printer special. So Joe says it has a 10 times higher resolution and it prints significantly faster. So the consequence of this will be that the Proteuses will be made faster. The quality of the casing will be better because the resolution will be higher on the printing. And I think that's really amazing that Joe's working so hard to make the Proteus the best possible product. It's really amazing about some of the like social media coverage that Joe's gotten with the Proteus recently. I'm really proud of the work that he's doing, and I'm a huge supporter of his work, and I'm so happy that people are out there getting it, that it's being turned into a meme, and Joe's work is being recognized as just how amazing it is. I mean, staking hundreds of mini pools on a machine that uses 10 watts of power, or less than 10 watts of power, is absolutely phenomenal. And it's truly a groundbreaking machine that Joe's getting out there and making it even easier to stake with Rocket Pool than it was before. Because you don't have to think about how to put your NUC together. Like if you don't have any hardware experience, you don't have to think about flashing Linux onto a computer, which these are things that I had issues with when I became a staker. SmartNode is already installed on there. If you want, if you're not sure of how things are, then you're free to wipe it all, like erase the hard drive and start again if you're not sure. But Joe, I feel like is one of the few people in the world who I can trust with my private keys, and not have any doubts that anything is missing. So I'm really excited for Joe. I'm really happy for Joe, and I know that he's got like literally hundreds of orders waiting to get out. So I hope you get to them soon, Joe, because I'm waiting for mine still. Okay, next we have this tweet from crypto.com, and it says Rocket Pool is listed on crypto.com app. Buy RPL at true cost with USD, Euro, Great British Pound, and 20 plus fiat currencies. Download the app to start trading RPL now, and then there's a link to getting the app. And for more details, then there's a little publication that the blog post that they've done. So we know that crypto.com listed RPL on their website recently, but I think most of crypto.com's customers interact with the platform using their app. So now this means that a whole bunch of new people will get access to buying RPL on the app, which is really fantastic. I'm really happy about that. I think just going back for a second, I think a whole lot of the major exchanges now list RPL. So it's reaching that point where the vast majority of cryptocurrency holders and traders will have access to RPL on centralized exchanges. Of course, Binance being the biggest one, but then you also have Coinbase and Kraken, Crypto.com. The very well reputed big ones are all have RPL now, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'm really happy about that. Okay, so an interesting thing happened a little while ago. We got 26 ETH block into the smoothing pool. So I haven't really talked about the smoothing pool and Rocket Fuel recently. So let's have a quick look at where it's standing right now. So we have 1,532 nodes out of 2,038, which is 75.27% in the smoothing pool, and that is 6,451 mini pools out of 11,790, which is 55%. So these numbers are very healthy. They've stayed in this range for quite a while now. We do get some churn of people leaving the mini pool, leaving the smoothing pool and then coming back into the smoothing pool. But the numbers have been quite stable around these levels, which is really, really great. If we have a look at the rewards for this period so far, we have 140 ETH or thereabouts in there over 14 days. So over this period, we're aiming to get 280 or so ETH into the smoothing pool. If that tracks, which will put us on track for the second biggest month since the smoothing pool started. Of course, there's still 14 days to go. The prices, like the smoothing pool, can go up or down. We're not really sure. It's not, as they say, past performance is not a sign of future performance. But what's really interesting here is that there's a lot of bigger pools now in the smoothing pool. So we have Marceau with 175. We have 0xC1A with 149. We have 0xD93 with 139 and 0x9A8 with 100. So for a long time, Ken was the biggest smoothing pool operator with 60, I want to say, mini pools, but that's like totally blown out of the water now. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the bigger stakers getting involved, but hey, this is still fantastic. It's a really great achievement for the Rocket Pool protocol to have the smoothing pool working so well and thriving. I'm really looking forward to how the smoothing pool in itself is going to attract more people to Rocket Pool, because I think that's what's going to be happening with withdrawals. I think there's a whole bunch of people who will move just because of the smoothing pool, which is fantastic. Okay, so next we have this tweet from Yield Protocol. It says, today we are launching rETH as collateral on Yield. So what is Yield Protocol? They say here, rETH is liquid staking derivative from Rocket Pool, represents, we already know that part. It says, with the ability to use rETH as collateral, users can take out a loan against their rETH position. They can choose to unlock liquidity from their rETH position or lever up by acquiring more rETH with the borrowed funds. So I guess what they're going to be letting you borrow against USDC. So you will deposit your rETH, get USDC, and then you can use that to buy more rETH to increase your chances of your rewards, basically, right? So that is really really interesting. Of course, with rETH versus USDC borrowing, you'll have to be careful because there's a chance of liquidation there in a way that isn't quite present with the rETH borrowing. However, I think those products are still need to grow some more. But Yield Protocol is actually a quite big lending service. So here you can have a look. Their rates are, if you borrow 100,000 USDC against your rETH, you will get you will pay 0.11% in interest. 250k is 1.28%, 500k is 1.55%, 58%, and $1 million is 2.31%. So they're comparing their rates against other platforms at around 3%. So they're definitely saying that using Yield is more advantageous. I, of course, have never used Yield or any of these other DeFi platforms, so I can't tell you my personal experience with them. But hey, I'm always happy that rETH is being integrated in more and more protocols, which is fantastic. Okay, next we have a tease of an interview from DeFi Dad. So for those of you who don't know DeFi Dad talks about he's a DeFi super user, educator, and has 150,000 Twitter followers. So there's an interview here with Nomatic and Jasper. So this interview happened, I think, yesterday or the day before, and then DeFi Dad shared the screenshot of the interview, and Jasper said, such a great conversation. I think we really connected on a lot of core values. DeFi Dad says, we definitely did. Very excited to chop this up in editing. Favorite clip was a meticulous answer about the values held dear by Ethereum that show up in Rocket Pool, i.e. censorship resistance, self-sovereignty, permissionlessness, decentralization. Jasper says, if you made a Venn diagram of Ethereum values and Rocket Pool values, you will be looking at a circle. I know that for sure, that I made that exact comment once before, or at least a few times before. So it's really cool that, with Jasper and I are so aligned anyway, so I already knew that. I think Jasper says, I think listeners will agree after they hear us talk about it. And strong principles and strong beards, because the 3 people in the video have beards. So I'm really excited about this video dropping. I think it's going to drop next week, and I will definitely talk about this video on Rocket Fuel when that goes out. Finally, we have 8th Wonder here, who's a part-time community member who sold all their RPL a few months ago, thinking that the world was heading towards World War III. And at the time, I covered that on Rocket Fuel, so I thought it might be nice to talk about 8th Wonder again and just kind of check in with how they're doing. So he says his portfolio hit all-time highs today, like clockwork. RPL, rETH, and ETH are, 8th Wonder's biggest holdings. And RPL is nearly half of their holdings, with 100 ETH, more than 100 ETH worth of rETH in there too. So it's really cool that... and Marceau replied by saying, congrats, friend. And he says, thanks for all the alpha and the public support. And and use the Zapify to get that information. And it's really cool that, 8th Wonder got back in and is holding strong now. And I really hope that they keep those gains, because it was a shame when someone like 8th Wonder sold out in the situation that they sold out in. But I'm happy that they're back now and holding, and hoping that we all see new beautiful all-time highs together very soon. I got challenged about being the keeper of the all-time high on trading today, and I have to say that we're not near the ETH RPL ETH ratio all-time high, which is 0.029565. Once we hit that, then I'll be celebrating properly. But hey, in dollar terms, and on the ratio terms, we're doing really well. So congratulations for everyone who's holding today. It's definitely one of those nice days to be holding. So on that positive note, I'm going to end today's episode. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead of you, and enjoy the green candles while you're around. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.